Picture this: a courtroom filled with lawyers, reporters, and jurors leaning forward as evidence is presented. The tension builds. After all, this is a case where a celebrity could lose $24 million over a single injury. The photo is revealed, the moment everyone has been waiting for, and the room is left blinking in confusion. Because the so-called injury, it's barely visible. Not a deep cut, not a disfiguring wound, just the faintest mark. So small it sparked memes online of people holding magnifying glasses to their screens asking, "Wait, is that the scar?" That's the bizarre centerpiece of Cardi B's trial. A claim so exaggerated it has people wondering if this is a real lawsuit or an elaborate comedy skit. But it's real, and it's unfolding in a way no one could have scripted. The lawsuit isn't just about the scar, it's about emotional trauma, PTSD, and damages so inflated they've turned the courtroom into a circus. And while this might sound like just another celebrity court battle, it's quickly proving to be in a league of its own. Why? Because Cardi B isn't quietly sitting through the accusations. She's firing back with blunt honesty, witty clapbacks, and the kind of lines that go viral before the gavel even hits. This is the trial people can't stop talking about, not because it's tragic or groundbreaking, but because it's so absurd it's impossible to look away. And as each testimony unfolds, the questions get louder. Is this really about justice, or just a $24 million jackpot hunt? Celebrity trials have always drawn attention, but in the past decade, they've become global spectacles. Think about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. What should have been a private courtroom battle turned into a live-streamed event with millions tuning in daily, dissecting every smirk, every side-eye, every objection. It wasn't just a trial, it was appointment viewing, more popular than a Netflix series. Gwyneth Paltrow's ski trial last year proved the formula again. A minor accident on a slope transformed into a media frenzy, spawning memes of her half a day of skiing testimony and endless parodies online. Even today, Blake Lively's legal war with Justin Baldoni is positioning itself as the next Hollywood courtroom blockbuster, complete with accusations, counters, and endless speculation. But Cardi B's case breaks the mold. There are no Hollywood sets involved, no #MeToo undertones, no billion-dollar franchises on the line. This isn't about an actor's reputation in a movement-driven industry. It's about something far smaller, a single encounter at a doctor's office that snowballed into a claim worth tens of millions. That simplicity is exactly why it resonates. Viewers don't need to untangle complicated timelines or decades of accusations. It's straightforward. Did Cardi scratch and spit on a security guard, or is this an opportunistic shakedown? And unlike the serious, somber tone of past celebrity cases, this one feels different. It's unhinged, it's comedic, and it's creating viral clips at such a pace that people are joking. This case should be live-streamed on Netflix rather than hidden on court TV. In a media landscape desperate for attention, Cardi's trial has managed to become the perfect storm. Simple enough to follow, dramatic enough to share, and absurd enough to feel like satire. To understand how we got here, we have to rewind to 2018. At that time, Cardi B wasn't just topping charts. She was also preparing for one of the most personal milestones of her life: motherhood. Pregnant with her first child, she wanted to keep the news private until she could announce it on her own terms. Fame doesn't come with privacy, but she thought she had found a way around that. Her OB/GYN agreed to shut down the office during her visits, ensuring no other patients were present. This way, Cardi could arrive without glam, without paparazzi, and without the risk of someone leaking her pregnancy before she was ready. But that privacy was shattered. On one visit, security guard Amani Ellis was allegedly present. According to Cardi, Ellis spotted her, immediately picked up the phone, and told someone, "Cardi B is here." Then things escalated. Cardi claims Ellis began recording her, turning what was supposed to be a private, safe moment into a public spectacle. For Cardi, who had gone to great lengths to protect this part of her life, it felt like a betrayal. She confronted Ellis, demanding she stop. What Cardi describes as a verbal argument quickly spiraled into two very different versions of events. Ellis alleges it went further, that Cardi lashed out physically, scratching her face with her long nails and even spitting on her. The scratch, she claims, left her scarred and traumatized. Cardi denies it, insisting she would never have jeopardized her health or her babies by getting into a physical altercation. But those few tense minutes inside a doctor's office would follow both women for years, eventually leading to this surreal multi-million-dollar showdown. Here's where things get strange. If an incident was truly life-altering, most people wouldn't wait years to take action. But that's exactly what happened here. The alleged altercation took place in 2018. Yet Ellis didn't file a lawsuit until 2020, a full 2 years later. And even more curious, she didn't seek medical treatment for her supposed facial injury until 2022, 4 years after the event. During that time, Cardi B's career exploded. She was performing on global stages, making headlines for her outspoken personality and building a family. Meanwhile, this claim sat in the background, dormant, waiting. When Ellis finally stepped forward, her lawsuit wasn't modest. She wasn't asking for medical expenses, lost wages, or even symbolic justice. She was demanding $24 million. Her argument is that she didn't just suffer a scratch. She says she endured years of anxiety, depression, insomnia, and even body shaming because of the mark. She described herself as traumatized, haunted by the incident, and unable to move on. But here's the catch. If the injury was so devastating, why wait so long to address it? Why wait 2 years to sue? Why wait 4 years to see a plastic surgeon? These unanswered questions hang over the case like storm clouds. For Cardi's supporters, the timeline reeks of opportunism. To them, it feels less like justice and more like a calculated move, waiting until Cardi's fame and bank account reached its peak. Every trial has a pivotal moment, the kind where all eyes turn to the screen or exhibit in question. In this case, it was the unveiling of the scar. Ellis and her legal team insisted this was the physical proof of her suffering, the visible reminder of the trauma she endured. Courtroom staff dimmed the lights, the photo was projected, and everyone leaned in. What they saw stunned them, but not for the reason Ellis hoped. The scar was so faint it was almost invisible. Jurors squinted, reporters shifted in their seats. Online, the reaction was instant. Memes compared the mark to a paper cut, a cat scratch, even a faint smudge of makeup. For damages this astronomical, people expected something dramatic, something undeniable. Instead, they got a photo where many couldn't see anything at all. Ellis argued that the scar had required expensive treatment, including procedures costing between $15,000 and $20,000. But the disconnect was glaring. A barely visible scratch versus a $24 million lawsuit. The courtroom moment that was supposed to cement her case ended up undermining it. Instead of sympathy, Ellis faced skepticism. Was this really the kind of injury that caused PTSD and years of suffering? Or was it just the flimsiest of excuses to justify an outrageous payday? That reveal set the tone for the rest of the trial. From that point forward, the scar became less of a symbol of injury and more of a punchline. The jury wasn't just evaluating the case, they were questioning the credibility of the entire claim. While Ellis's case struggled to gain traction, Cardi B transformed the courtroom into her own stage. And this wasn't by accident, it was pure personality. From the moment she took the stand, she leaned into the chaos, delivering lines that felt less like testimony and more like viral sound bites. One of the most memorable moments came when a lawyer pressed her about whether she had insulted Ellis by calling her fat. Cardi didn't flinch. She corrected him with brutal honesty, saying no, she hadn't used that word. She had called her something else entirely. The courtroom broke into whispers and the internet broke into laughter. It was a mic drop moment, the kind of bluntness fans love her for, and it spread across social media within hours. Later, when asked if she could have physically attacked Ellis, Cardi reminded everyone that she was 4 months pregnant at the time. She described how pregnancy left her exhausted, limited, and, in her words, very disabled. The line hit hard because it wasn't just funny, it was real. Women who had been through pregnancy understood immediately. She wasn't just defending herself, she was connecting with millions of viewers watching online. These moments didn't just help her case, they reshaped it. Instead of looking defensive or cornered, Cardi looked sharp, quick-witted, and in control. She wasn't the aggressor painted in the lawsuit. She was the woman standing up to a ridiculous accusation with truth, humor, and charisma. And every time she spoke, it became another clip, another meme, another viral moment. It's why so many people are now saying the trial isn't hurting her, it's helping her. In a culture where attention is everything, Cardi has turned a lawsuit meant to break her into a platform to strengthen her brand. If Cardi B brought charisma to the stand, the plaintiff's attorney brought something else entirely: unintentional comedy. His name is Ron Rosen, and the internet has already nicknamed him everything from sitcom lawyer to Better Call Saul's long-lost cousin. His performance in court has been so strange, so awkward, that people have started sharing clips not to analyze the case, but to laugh at his line of questioning. Take, for example, his obsession with Cardi's hair. One day, she appeared in court with blonde hair, the next day with sleek black. Instead of sticking to the facts of the case, Rosen asked her directly, "Yesterday you had short black hair. Today it's blonde and long. Which one is your real hair?" Cardi, unbothered, simply responded, "They're wigs." The delivery was deadpan, the expression priceless, and the courtroom stifled chuckles. Online, the clip went viral within hours, with fans captioning it, "The $24 million question." And then there was the nail fiasco. The alleged assault centers on Cardi, supposedly scratching Ellis with her long nails. So Rosen decided to dig deeper. He asked Cardi how long it would take for her to glue on 3-inch acrylics. She explained the difference between glued-on nails and acrylics, going into detail about how long each type lasts and how much time it would take to remove or replace them. Instead of building the case, the exchange turned into what sounded like a beauty tutorial in the middle of a courtroom. By the end of it, everyone was asking, was this really about proving guilt? Or was Rosen just confused about how manicures work? But the most surreal moment came when Cardi described her high level of concern during the altercation, explaining that she was pregnant and worried for her safety. Rosen's reply? A flat, awkward, "Hello, I'm here." The courtroom fell silent, then buzzed with disbelief. Clips of the exchange were immediately memed across TikTok and Twitter. Some compared it to The Office, others to an improv skit gone wrong. Whatever it was, it made Rosen look less like a seasoned attorney and more like a sitcom character, accidentally dropped into a high-profile
somehow, yeah, past me, I suppose. I know your type, bobo.
The internet turns him into content. Instead of strengthening Ellis's case, his bumbling style only highlights how flimsy the entire lawsuit feels. While Rosen stumbled his way through questioning, Cardi B turned the courtroom into her runway. Every day she arrived in a new look, and every day her outfit sparked conversation online. From tailored suits in bold colors to dramatic hairstyles that change like clockwork, she made sure the cameras had something to capture. One day, she stepped out in a chic blonde wig paired with oversized sunglasses. The next, she rocked sleek black waves and a sophisticated gown. At one point, she even showed up with bangs, completely transforming her look overnight. Fans began treating her appearances like episodes in a fashion series, compiling side-by-side comparisons of Cardi's courtroom looks, as if this were Fashion Week rather than a trial. But this wasn't just vanity, it was strategy. Cardi knows the court of public opinion is just as important as the one inside the building. By looking confident, polished, and unshaken, she sends a silent message. She's in control. She's not hiding, not shrinking, and not letting the lawsuit define her. She's defining herself, one outfit at a time. It's also a power play. Courtrooms are intimidating places by design, meant to make defendants feel small. But Cardi flipped that dynamic. Instead of blending into the background, she turned every entrance into a statement. She reminded everyone that she's a superstar first and a defendant second. The effect on jurors is subtle but powerful. When someone commands the room with confidence, it shifts perception. Even fashion critics who normally don't cover trials started weighing in, praising her bold choices and noting how her style turned the lawsuit into something bigger. For Cardi, every outfit wasn't just clothes, it was armor. It was proof that she wouldn't be broken down by a flimsy claim or an embarrassing circus of questions. And whether she wins or loses, she's already won in the arena of image. It's easy to get caught up in the absurdity, the wigs, the nail tutorials, the awkward "hello, I'm here" moment. But behind the laughter, this case carries very real consequences. If Ellis wins, Cardi B could be forced to pay an astronomical $24 million. For most celebrities, that kind of payout isn't just a financial hit, it's a reputational one. It sends the message that stars can be successfully targeted over even the smallest interactions. That's why this trial is more than entertainment. It's a test of precedent. If a faint scar, one barely visible even in courtroom photos, can justify a multi-million-dollar settlement, then every celebrity becomes a walking liability. Imagine how many encounters could suddenly become lawsuits. A heated argument at a club, a misunderstanding with a fan, even a minor scuffle on the street. If Cardi loses, it opens the door for similar claims, encouraging opportunists to weaponize fame for profit. But if Cardi wins, the implications are equally powerful. It will send a clear signal that fame does not equal an ATM machine, and that opportunistic lawsuits won't automatically succeed just because they involve a high-profile name. For Cardi personally, it would be a victory not just in court, but in image. She's shown the world that she won't fold under pressure, that she'll fight back with wit, resilience, and style. Either way, this trial is shaping up to be a landmark moment, not for the size of the damages, but for what it says about how we treat celebrities in the modern age. Are they public figures with money to burn, open to endless legal attacks? Or are they still entitled to the same fairness as anyone else, without being punished for their success? That's the real question hanging over this case. At its core, this trial isn't about a scar at all. It's about greed. It's about how fame turns ordinary disputes into multi-million-dollar spectacles. And it's about how the justice system, willingly or not, has become another arena for entertainment. We've seen it before. Depp and Heard became a global soap opera, Gwyneth Paltrow's ski trial became a meme generator, and Blake Lively's ongoing battle with Justin Baldoni is already being dissected like the next big streaming series. But Cardi's case might be the purest example yet. There's no deep moral debate here, no billion-dollar contracts, just a celebrity, a scratch, and an opportunistic claim inflated to the point of absurdity. And yet, it has captivated millions. Why? Because in today's world, trials aren't just legal battles, they're content. Clips of Cardi sparring with lawyers spread on TikTok faster than music videos. Her quotes become memes. Even her outfits are dissected and shared like fashion editorials. The plaintiff's attorney has become a punchline, fueling more laughter than legal insight. And the supposed scar? It's become a meme symbolizing the gap between claim and reality. The irony is undeniable. Ellis hoped to prove her suffering and cash in on Cardi's fame. Instead, Cardi has flipped the script, turning the trial into a stage where she shines. She's gained sympathy, showcased her humor, and reminded everyone why she became famous in the first place. Not just for music, but for being unapologetically herself. So what's the real verdict? Maybe it won't come from the jury. Maybe it's already been decided in the court of public opinion, where Cardi B has turned a $24 million accusation into one of the most entertaining and revealing celebrity trials we've ever seen. And in a culture where attention is the ultimate currency, Cardi has already walked away the winner.